This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be spies. We're going to be espionaging into different locations, like maybe one where space shuttles take off and go into the space. Sometimes where submarines are and things like that. It's a deduction game where we're trying to assassinate other players or have the highest rank. Today we're looking at H.I.D.E. Hidden Identity Dice Espionage is what that stands for. 3 to 5 players, takes about 30 minutes to play. Let me show you. I'll see you on the other side. In H.I.D.E, you're going to be looting different locations, and depending on what's there, you'll get a certain amount of money. You're also trying to raise your rank. One card equals a level of rank. You can get to a rank of 7 and end the game immediately, or after 3 rounds, you're going to try to see who has the most loot from the stolen locations. Here we have a game set up for 3 players. Here are the different locations I had just shown you, and the loot that came out for the first round of the game. Each player gets their own player board with a shield that they'll be hiding dice on, but then they'll also be putting them up top. In a 3-player game, a die is rolled, and randomly one of these locations will have security put there, and nobody can go there this round. Everyone is given a gadget card which shows a location. I'll get to what this means later, and it's sort of a special use as well. Talk about that later. At the beginning of the round, everybody gets 1 rank. And remember, if anybody gets 7 rank at one point, they end the game and win. And at the beginning of the round, 1 loot card is being placed in each of these spots. Now in this game, there's a bag of dice. You'll take out a certain amount of them depending on how many players are playing. But in this bag of dice, there's 4 different colors. And on each die, you're going to have 1 of each of these locations. So that's 4 of the sides. You're going to have a hat on one side, a sub on one side, a satellite on one side. And then 2 of the sides are guns, which sort of act as wild. I'll tell you what those do later. Now at this point, when the round is just getting started, everybody will basically take 1 of these dice and they will secretly put it behind their shield. And what they're doing is they're going to say which location they're going to try to go to and loot this round. So do you want to go after the big money? Now, if multiple people go after that, you're going to have a shootout with them if you're both alive. Or do you want to take maybe the one that nobody's going to go after? It's a tough decision. Let's say I want to go after this one with the hat. Behind my shield, I'm going to place the die I just pulled. I did not show anybody this. Now, 2 things. 1, it's a hat. 2, it's an orange or yellow color. And that is my identity, is made up of those 2 things. I am orange hat. And everybody else will do the same thing. They'll choose a die, and again, in this round, normally you could select any one of those 4, but in this round you can only select one of these 3 icons. You can never select a gun, and in this round you can't select that because it is blocked. Now what's going to happen is the start player is going to take the amount of dice here, that's the number of players plus 1, so that's 4. They're going to take 4 dice out, and they're going to roll them. Now starting with the start player, you're going to take one of these dice, and you're going to do one of 2 things. Now one of the things you can do is you can take one of these die, and put it in front of you. And what this means is that I am neither of these 2 things. So now everybody knows that I am not red and I am not satellite. And then it would go to the next player. If they take one of these blue guns and put it in front of themselves, all we know is that he is not blue, because the gun is sort of a wild and it's not used in this case. It's just we know he's not blue. Now in this case, the other thing you can do on your turn is grab one of these. Let's say he grabs the blue gun and he places it up here. If you place it up here, you have to give away basically a piece of your identity. And when you place the gun, you can change it to anywhere you want. And let's say he changes it to satellite, blue satellite. Because if it's a gun, it was wild, he changes it there. When you put it in front, you don't change the gun. When you put it on top, you change the gun to something. Now, what this means is that this has to have at least 1 feature correct. So in this case, there's a blue satellite. So we know that he is either a blue something or a satellite of some color, or both. He could be totally trying to mess with us, and he actually could be a blue satellite and sort of bluffing a little bit. Now, we've given him information. He's given information, but for that, he gets to try to assassinate one of us. So he might look at my die and say, okay, I know he's not a red satellite. So I know he's not red. I know he's not a satellite. Maybe he went after this one. So I'm going to say, he might say to me, you are a purple helmet. And I would just say, no. Okay, and then it would go back to me. So, and that's pretty much all you're doing. You're taking now, after all this is left, there's one die. This start player moves to the next player. And there's one die out there. The start player will then reveal 3 more dice, so there's still 4 total. He'll roll them. So this dice is left from last time. And then we have this, and then we go around again. You're either putting stuff here that you are not, or you're putting it on top, giving away information about yourself, and then trying to assassinate somebody. If someone's assassinated, they're removed out of this round. This will continue until there's 4 dice in front of you, either in any way, up or down, as long as everybody has taken 4 dice, or until everybody is pretty much eliminated from the round. Now, also on your turn, you can exhaust your gadget card. And by exhausting your gadget card, you can essentially change any of the dice that are out there. So maybe I have these to select from. I do this, I turn this to this, and then I come out here and I do something like that. So it basically gives you one chance to manipulate one of the dice. So as the rounds go on, you get to learn more and more information, and it's easier to assassinate people. For example, after the 4th die, this would be the end of the round, but we know that this person is either yellow or a satellite. We know he's not blue. We know he's not blue and not nuclear, and we know he's not red. So that had narrowed it down a little bit. Now, again, if someone had gotten assassinated and they were guessed correctly, like let's say during the 3rd turn, they knew I was not a satellite or red or blue, but they knew I was either a hat or a purple or both. Maybe someone guessed orange hat and they assassinated me. Essentially, I would reveal that I was assassinated. I would be out of this round. And the person that assassinated me would take all the rank cards that are here. Maybe there's multiple of these rank cards. Here there's just one, but I might have a ton of these. They would take them all. They would place one of them on their rank. Remember this, he's now at a level of 2 of 7 to win the game. If I had a bunch more, they would take those rank cards and put them face down. This is worth those money at the end of the game. So let's say this player was assassinated. It's the end of the round. These 2 players reveal. And we see this player was a red satellite, this player was a purple satellite. They're both going for the satellite. And since they're going to the same spot, at this point there's a showdown. Now they're both going after satellite, the 10,000. This guy has 2 life because he actually gave up more information. This player has only 1 life, but his gadget card had satellite. And because that gadget is where he's going, he automatically gets an extra life. So now they're tied 2 life to 2 life. And there's a showdown. Each player takes one of their dice, and they roll it, and if one is a gun and one is not, the other person loses that life. In this case, nothing happened. This player would roll again, this player would roll, and it's a gun. This player loses this life. So now we come here. This player rolls this, gun, gun. They roll again. No gun, no gun. They roll again. Gun, no gun, no gun. No gun, no gun. And they continue to do this until there's a gun and a no gun. And then this player, that's a satellite. This is a long battle. There we go. And then this guy is gone. So now it's down to the last one. They'd roll again. Gun. No gun. So this player is eliminated, assassinated, and this player gets to take this 10,000. Now in this showdown, even though you've kind of won the showdown, you don't necessarily take his rank cards in this case. But you do take the loot, and you put it face down here, and he has 10,000. That would be the end of the round. Now, at the beginning of the next round, each of these locations is going to get loot again. So the ones that were not hit last time are all getting even more loot now. And then randomly, one of these will get assigned through a die. Maybe you can't go there this round. Everybody gets 1 more rank, and we would continue this through. We just played through 1 round. There's a total of 3 rounds, so 2 more would be played like that. And again, the game ends immediately if someone has 7 of these rank cards. Or if not, after the 3rd round, you would add up this money, plus all the money in your loot, and the one who has the most is the winner. If there's tied, you do a showdown. All right, there is H.I.D.E. Now this game made my top 10 most anticipated games for Essen this year. There wasn't a lot known about it, just that, you take dice, you put them behind your shield, you're trying to deduce what other people are, and I love deduction, so I was interested in this one. This is a pretty light game. It's quick, it's 30 minutes. It has some interesting things there where, you're sitting there and it's like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to put a die in front of me to kind of last another round, tell everybody what I'm not? Or do I think I know enough information about somebody, either just by looking at what's there. Is this guy greedy? Is he going to go after the highest one? Oh, his gadget card is for the helmet, and the helmet has the most money. Let me just take a shot. I think you're going to the helmet and you're red, you know, and you can just take a guess that way. Or you got to, you know, put out information that's not about you. And I like how it kind of does focus it a little bit as you're coming down to things, and you can see what people are doing and try to guess where they're going. So overall, it's not a bad game. It's not one that's like stood out as like one of my favorite deduction games ever. I mean, it's okay. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game. There are some interesting decisions to make. I like with the gun, it's like, oh, I can either, you know, put it up here and choose whatever I want it to be in, or I can put it down here and not give you as much information. So those are cool. I like how you can twist your, you know, your gadget card, and then with doing that, I can manipulate a die. And so it's this back and forth of watching what other people are doing, trying to figure out what they're going for, trying to assassinate people, taking their things. It's quick and easy and light. If I did have one complaint, it's that I know it's simple deduction, but I really wish there would have been a sheet, a player aid sheet somehow that you're taking, you're crossing off, okay, this person's not purple, this person's not this, oh, this person is this. It doesn't sound like a lot to keep track of, it's really not, but when you have multiple players, and someone goes, oh, I'm going to assassinate you, you're a blue helmet. And they say, nope. And the next player tries to that play and goes, you're a yellow satellite. Nope. Well, you know, once you start going, you're so busy thinking about what you should do and what you should not do, you kind of forget about those things. It becomes more of a memory element, which I'm not that big a fan of. So I personally would just take notes as to what they were. I wish they'd included some sort of deduction sheet. Even though it's simple deduction, it would have made the game more enjoyable. So overall, not a great game, not a terrible game, sort of in the middle there, not bad. Has some interesting elements of you know, pushing your luck, trying to get people, trying to guess what they're doing, and using some deduction in there, and that is H.I.D.E.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.